Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here on USB Unaffiliated Sports Broadcast. Today is Friday. It's finally Friday. We made it. We've had a busy week. A lot of soccer, a lot of volleyball. Stansbury pretty much had a rivalry week in a lot of ways with a lot of their sports. It's been fun. So I hope everybody had a great week. Had some tough losses. We had some good wins as well. Be sure to check everything out and get caught up on that. But this is the football game day podcast. Um, a little bit behind on stuff. It's late night. It is what it is, but we're here nonetheless. And no, super excited for it. Super excited for it. We got some good matchups today. Our teams are going into some pretty good, I think, comparisons in terms of like equal style teams, right? I think Stansbury might be the one with kind of the biggest edge, I think, this week. But so we're gonna start with them. We're gonna start with them. So we didn't get a Monday recap out. I apologize for that. I was still kind of recouping from all my traveling, and yeah, not gonna lie, it just wasn't something I got time to do. So we're going to do a little bit of a recap of last week because we didn't really get a chance to talk about that. And I want to make sure that we talk about it because we saw some good stuff from our teams last week. All of them, honestly. And so I want to make sure that we get it out there and get them the recognition that they deserve. So we're going to start off the day with Stansbury as they are the perfect team that we've got so far in our area. They're sitting at 2-0 on the season. And so we're going to start with them. They're leading the pack, so we got to lead with them, right? That's kind of how it goes. So last week we saw Stansbury versus Bonneville at home, and they absolutely put a whooping on Bonneville, winning that one 53-20. Now, they scored 46 points in the second and third quarter alone. Now, we were at the Richfield game. We were doing the live broadcast from that, and I was getting some updates in the chat about it, and it looked like that was going to be a close game, and then out of nowhere, boom, they just took off. They just took off with it. So Brighton Reitzel, the junior, he had an impressive 18 of 25 for 277 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. I don't think you can ask for more out of a quarterback than that. Carter Peterson for Stansbury, he had 10 carries for 63 yards and 1 touchdown in that matchup. The Stallions collectively rushed for 160 yards. Lincoln Reitzel, the junior, he had a monster game for his team. He had 4 receptions for 110 yards and 3 touchdowns. My man, Lael Rhodes, the senior, with an equally impressive performance, he snagged 9 receptions for 101 yards and 1 touchdown. And now, on the defensive side of the ball, Bronx Baker, he led the defense with 12 total tackles. Stansbury had an impressive 100 total tackles as a team listed, with 20 different defenders recording tackles on that game. So, big game for that defense. They were obviously everywhere. Everybody was doing their part. I mean, that's super impressive. Ethan Clegg, he went 5 of 7 on PATs, but he tallied 333 kickoff yards and 1 touchback. So, great game for those guys. A lot of people ended up having some breakout performances, I think. Yeah, that was a huge game for those guys. And again, they dominated against Bonneville 53-20 last week. And so that leads them into this week where they're sitting at 2-0 now, and they'll be on the road taking on Uinta, who's 0-2. So, Uinta played a close one in their season opener against Murray. They lost that one 39-38. So that looked like it was a pretty good game, but they got absolutely handled against Mountain Crest last week, losing 62-8. So US is going to come into a this game. I mean, they are at home, but they're coming into this game against a red hot Stansbury Stallions team. Let's look at the team comparison breakdown just a little bit. So in passing yards, Stansbury sitting at 566 on the season. Uinta sitting at 432. So not too bad for them there. Passing touchdowns, Stansbury's got 8 so far. Uinta's got 5. Interceptions, Stansbury is only listed as throwing 1 interception this year. Meanwhile, Uinta has thrown 2. So still pretty good offensive, in the passing game comparison there. I think that matches up pretty good. Rushing yards, 254 for Stansbury, 242 for Uinta. Now, in terms of rushing touchdowns, Stansbury's got 3 on the season, while Uinta has 1. Tackles for loss, Stansbury's got 11. Uinta sitting at 9 sacks. Stansbury has 4. Uinta has 1. And neither team has listed interceptions on the season. So if you look at that team comparison, I think that's a pretty even breakdown, and Uinta's just kind of got they lost that close one, so they could easily be 1-1 right now, I think. But I think what's concerning for them is the way that they kind of got manhandled in that last game, and what does that do for their mentality coming into this one when you've got Stansbury coming in super hot. I mean, they're crushing it right now. So is that mentality maybe going to be the biggest difference in terms of your quarterback comparison? For Uinta, you got number 18, Landon Woods. He's a junior. He's sitting at about 67% on the season. He's 35 of 52 for 432 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He's also got 11 carries for 59 yards. On Stansbury's side of the ball, though, you got the impressive junior, number 3, Brighton Reitzel. He's sitting at 59%, 28 of 47, 555 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, 12 carries for 42 yards, and a touchdown himself. So pretty good quarterback comparison, I think. They stack up very well, I think, and it's clearly going to come down to the defenses being able to stop the pass for both these teams. Yeah, no, and again, they're pretty comparable in a lot of their stats. This could prove to be a good matchup for Stansbury. I just think that the 2-0 and 0-2 thing might make it look a little deeper than maybe it is. I don't know though. We'll see. Because again, Stansbury's they're coming in red hot right now, and so that's a lot of momentum to try to stop if you're Uinta. So definitely being interesting. As for the running back comparison, for Uinta, you've got number 9, Cash Barney. He's a sophomore. He's got 45 carries on the season for 188 yards. He's averaging about 4.2 per carry, and he has 0 touchdowns on the season. On Stansbury's side of the ball, you've got the senior, number 24, Carter Peterson. He's had some big runs this year, but he's sitting at 22 carries for 118 yards. He's averaging about 5.4 per carry. He's got 2 touchdowns. He also has 3 receptions for 74 yards. Now, receiving comparison, this is where I think it's going to be tight, right? Because we've clearly seen that both of these teams like to pass. And so for Uinta, you've got number 2, Romeo Garcia, the senior. He's got 13 receptions for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. So making the most of his there. For Stansbury, Lincoln Reitzel, the junior, number 5, he's sitting at 5 receptions for 181 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, mind you, these comparisons are all based off the stat leaders in those categories. Okay, so I'm not trying to say that nobody else is doing anything. These are just the people who are leading the team. Okay. On the defensive side of the ball, which is where I think this game's going to have its money made, your defensive total tackles for Uinta, their leader is number 76, Caden Young, a senior. He's got 15 total tackles on the season, 2 tackles for loss. For Stansbury, you've got the junior, number 9, Bronx Baker. He's got 24 total tackles on the season and 4 tackles for loss. So definitely doing the most there for himself. As for the sacks, for Uinta, you've got number 50. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting here. It might be 54 or 59. I'm sorry. Lucas Turner, the sophomore, he's got 1 sack on the season. Meanwhile, Stansbury's number 13, Noah Cephas, a senior, he has 2 sacks on the season. Again, neither team had any stats listed for interceptions. So nothing to talk about really there in terms of the secondary, but I think we're probably going to see some today. That's going to be my guess, because clearly both these teams like to pass, so those secondaries are really going to be tested, and somebody's bound to make a play, I think. Probably for both teams, to be fair. So I like this matchup. Statistically, I like this matchup for Stansbury. And I really think it's going to come down to the defenses. I really do. I think there's going to be, Stansbury's kind of been riding the high wave right now, right? Because they've been doing really, really well, and they deserve to be riding that wave. But I think potentially, this could be a game that kind of might have to bring them back down to earth just a little bit. They might struggle just a little bit. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. You guys know I like being proved wrong. But either way, I think the defenses are going to be the biggest impact in this game. They're going to have to step up to control these high-powered passing attacks of both these teams. And it should be interesting. Something that I did find interesting for Uinta, though, they also have four blocked field goals. So that's another that could, depending on how the game goes, obviously, right? That could prove to be, a turning point in the game, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. So good luck to Stansbury as they hit the road and they head out there to Uinta to take on the Uinta Utes, who are 0-2, and Stansbury's looking to maintain being perfect at 2-0. So good luck to them. Safe travels. Now, our second game that we're going to talk about, obviously, like I said, we're going backwards. We're going to talk about the game that we didn't cover last week, and then we're going to get into today's matchup, right? Still trying to get my morning coffee down, all right? It's been a rough one. It's been a rough one. So Deseret Peak last week was at North San Pete, and they would lose this one 49-9. But the biggest takeaway is that Deseret Peak sees their first program touchdown last Friday, collected by number 4 Cody Jensen, a junior who had 7 carries for 118 yards, 1 touchdown, with 80 being his longest. So congratulations to that young man for making school history, the first touchdown in the program's history. And whether it was designed, luck, or however it went down, it doesn't matter. Congratulations to you, young man. You made history for your program, and now continue going out and doing that, right? So, yes, they lost 49-9. Deseret Peak's a team that we're keeping our eye on in the next 2 years, right? I mean, me personally, I didn't think they were going to see a whole ton of success outside of just growth in this season. So to me, this is promising. This is promising. You're seeing growth. They get shut out in their first one. They come back. Sure, they lose again, but now they're getting points on the board. They're clearly moving the ball, and I think that's all you can ask for. And super proud of those guys for that. So though it wasn't super impressive, right? They also seen progress in the passing game, going 4 of 9 for 42 yards and 1 interception. Okay, so that they're working it. They're trying to get it going, and that's a step in the right direction. Defensively, they let up about 214 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, though. But they were led in total tackles by number 16 Todd Atkin with 9, and Cruz Anderson also with 9. Number 5 Cruz Anderson. So those two doing the most to help their team out, but they did let up quite a bit of rushing yards, and which North St. Pete likes to run the ball anyways, so that was kind of expected, but we're seeing progress. We're seeing progress. Number 19, Talon Raleigh, a junior. He was 1 of 1 on field goals, and he was good from 40 yards. That's impressive too. That's a positive to see. That gives you scoring capabilities, right? So, good job there, young man. But again, it was another tough loss, but the progress is trending in a positive direction, I think. And so for that, we say congratulations, and keep working, keep grinding, keep improving, keep those heads up, and just keep digging in, and get that program to what it can be. You guys are the guinea pigs in a lot of way. So good job. It sucks that you lose the way that you do. I'm sure that part's not easy, but keep those heads up. Keep those heads up and keep grinding. So tonight they will be at home. The 0-2 Deseret Peak Golden Eagles will be at home against the 1-1 Richfield Wildcats. Now, Richfield, I got to see them firsthand last week. They come into this matchup after being shut out against Grantsville last week, so they're probably a little pissed off. Um, I would imagine they're a little upset about that. So for Deseret Peak, that's going to be tough because they let up 214 rushing yards against North St. Pete, and we also know that Richfield is very run heavy. Now they can pass the ball, okay, but they are run heavy, and it seems to be their go-to. So be cautious of that. Their quick slant is pretty effective to the left, especially. They like to get you to press up and then take their shot down the field. So keep your eye on that. They usually throw it deep to number 5 or number 3 for them. Just trying to hit a big play down the field. But that quick slant they do to the left is pretty effective. I'm not going to lie. They hit Grantsville with that one quite a bit, which we'll talk about when we get to theirs. But keep your eye on that. But they are a run heavy team. They do like to run the ball. So that defense is going to be tested. It's going to be tested again. And Yeah, and they're going to have to step up big time, but they can do it. They can do it. The quarterback seems to be their leading rusher, which we'll get into that. I'm getting ahead of myself here, getting all excited trying to tell him what I was able to see for him. Oh my goodness, man, I goofed this up. Took all these notes down, guys, and I didn't write down the team comparison stats for Deseret Peak. Holy cow! So we're just gonna pull them up real quick. Bear with me for just 1 second. I'll just pull up the stats and we'll just read it off. I try to write my own notes down because one, right, when I was in the army, they used to tell us this thing that the best way to learn something is to have to teach it, because then you have to like, you have to know, you have to go through and you have to understand it so that you can teach it to other people, right? So a big part of that was I just like I handwrite everything, so I have to like read it and see it and everything, right? I don't know if it really works, but that's what they told me, and they can't be wrong, right? I don't know. So all right, team comparison. Here we go. So for Richfield, they're sitting at about their passing yards. They've got 254 passing yards on the season. Meanwhile, the Golden Eagles are only sitting at 42. Okay, so again, they're still building that. Passing touchdowns for Richfield, they are only listed as having one. Golden Eagles have zero. Passing interceptions, each team has one. Rushing yards, 306 is listed for Richfield. Meanwhile, the Golden Eagles actually have 216, so not terrible there. Not terrible there. Rushing touchdowns, two for Richfield and one for the Golden Eagles. Tackles for loss. I got to get to the defensive side for them. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I goofed this up. I had it all ready to go. At least I thought I did. And here we are. Okay, so tackles for loss. You've got one listed for Deseret Peak, and 12 listed for Richfield. So definitely a big difference there. Definitely a big difference there. Richfield's defense is definitely looking like they're getting in the backfield a little bit more. In terms of sacks, the Golden Eagles have 0 listed. Meanwhile, Richfield has 6 listed. Interceptions, defensive interceptions, the Golden Eagles have 0 listed. Meanwhile, Richfield comes in having 3 listed. Now, your player comparisons, in terms of positions, right? Our quarterback comparison for Deseret Peak, we've got number 7, Carter Stroyek, the junior. He's 2 of 10 so far for 35 yards and 1 interception. Oh my gosh, stinking ads. Sorry about that. He also has 8 carries for 31 yards. Cord White for Richfield, number 4, the junior. He's sitting at 51% on the season. He's sitting at 24 of 47, 254 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's also got 25 carries and 101 yards. He leads the team in rushing, by the way. So keep your eye on that. Running back comparison, number 4, Cody Jensen for Deseret Peak, the junior. He's got 19 carries for 131 yards and 1 touchdown. Good job to that young man. Number 9 for Richfield, Colton White, a sophomore. He's got 14 carries for 71 yards. He's averaging about 5.1 per carry and 1 touchdown. I didn't do the average for Jensen because that I'm pretty sure that 80-yarder, I'm assuming that was the touchdown, and that definitely kind of skewed it a little bit. So I didn't want to put that in there because it's going to make it seem like it's probably more than it really is. But hey, it is what it is. Your wide receiver comparison. For Deseret Peak, you've got Andrew Harris, the junior. He's got 2 receptions for 5 yards. There wasn't a whole lot of other stats for them in the passing game. Wide receiver for Richfield, number 84, Aiden Olson, senior. He's got 7 receptions for 93 yards and 1 touchdown. I'm pretty sure he was the one that they would like to go to for that quick slant, if I remember correctly. So keep your eye on that. That was a very effective pass for them when they played against Grantsville. So definitely keep your eye on that. Your leader in total tackles for Deseret Peak is number 5, Cruz Anderson, the junior. He's got 15 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss. As for Richfield, it's number 14. Wow, I'm going to butcher this name. Nagalu Taua Batofua. Oh, my bad. Sorry. The sophomore, number 14, he's got 11 total tackles and 3 tackles for loss. As for sacks, none are listed for Deseret Peak, but for Richfield, number 29, Ripken Jones, the junior, he's got 2 sacks on the season. And if I recall correctly from my own notes, he was our player to kind of keep an eye on last week. Very active defensive player there, linebacker, if I'm not mistaken. So keep your eye on that young man. He leads the team in sacks. Yeah, so keep an eye on him. Interceptions, again, none listed for Deseret Peak. As for Richfield, it's number 3, Trey Yardley, a junior. He's got 2 interceptions. So, you know, if I'm Deseret Peak, definitely, definitely be aware that they're going to try to run, but know that they can pass. And again, based off what we saw against Grantsville, they do like that quick slant out to the left. They do like that a lot, and it's pretty effective for them. They did a really good job getting completions on that one. And so if you're not making solid tackles, that could be a big gainer for them in the passing game. But their quarterback, that they do a lot of misdirection stuff and option style plays, design quarterback keepers. So Cord White's probably going to get he's probably going to be running a heck of a lot. But you know Grantsville did a really good job of maintaining that front seven. So if you guys can do that, I think you're going to have a lot of success stopping that run as well. Grantsville was very successful in that, and so if you guys could do that, I think you're going to be in an okay spot. There's just as long as that secondary is stepping up and playing good coverage, you're going to need that because again, they tend to lean towards the run, but they can pass the ball. So don't just assume that they're going to only run the ball, right? And honestly, after the way that they got handled by Grantsville last week, they might be looking to switch it up. So maybe they're going to be more pass heavy, even. Yeah, I would be because clearly their running game wasn't working, and we'll get into that later. But just keep an eye on that stuff, and good luck to them. So if you have nothing to do, head over to Deseret Peak this evening. Go support those young men as they build this program, and they'll be at home taking on the Richfield Wildcats, a game that I think that they could really they could win. I think they could win if they just keep up on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, Richfield kind of went flat in that game against Grantsville, and it was mostly due to the fact that the defense for Grantsville played really, really well. So if you guys can do that, I think you guys stand a good, solid chance, man. I really do. Um, yeah, good luck. Good luck to the Deseret Peak Golden Eagles. Again, they will be at home tonight against the Richfield Wildcats, looking for their first win of the season. So good luck, guys. Good luck. All right. Well, since we just talked about it, we'll keep up with. We'll jump right into Grantsville here. Now, sorry, let me get a drink here. Now, Grantsville was at Richfield last week, and they would win this one 32-0. It was an all-around turnaround performance from the Grantsville Cowboys last week. I mean, the whole team, players, offense, defense, special teams, coaching staff, even the fans. Even the fans were better this last week than they were the week before. Right? It was honestly just an overall better performance as a whole. Van Vliet, he was 67%. He went 19 of 28 for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns. I do feel like he threw an interception, though. That was not listed. And because I asked him after the game, I feel like he did. And maybe I'm wrong because he didn't remember it either. And it's definitely not listed on the stats. So maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like he threw an interception over the middle. And because I asked him if he got hit on that one because it was the worst throw that he made of the whole game. He was on fire, and that throw was just so far off target that I was like, he had to have got hit, and I just didn't see it. I don't know. But anyways, nonetheless, he had a really impressive game. 67%, 19 of 28 for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also had 7 carries for 28 yards and a touchdown, which is an element of his game that I think has been missing. And that if you look at when he came in to this program, he could obviously throw the ball. He was still developing it. He's still developing it now, right? But he could make something happen with his feet. And I think that added a spark to their team that they didn't really have. at the time when he came in, and it really helped, right? And so last year I don't feel like he did that as much, but he had a spectacular season last year, right? So I was like, okay, no big deal. But this year they've kind of struggled a little bit on offense in the first game, right? Their receivers haven't had the big breakout, runs or catches that they were looking for from last year. So I feel like if he can incorporate that a little bit more into his game, and it looked like it was by design too. It wasn't a fluke. They did a lot of RPOs or RPO styles. You'd see him read the defenders and pull it back, and I think that he did a really good job with that. And I think it's an element of his game that's kind of been missing as of late. And I'm excited to see if that kind of comes back. But Ty Home, he had a big turnaround game, snagging 4 receptions for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. Um, after seeing the frustrations that young man had in the first game, for him to come back in that game, um, and he was our offensive player to watch, mind you. I had a feeling. I had a feeling he was not going to have a repeat performance like that. Um, Congratulations to him. Seriously, heck of a turnaround game. Sure, the yardage isn't huge, but the 2 touchdown snags, putting your team up, he did a fantastic job fighting for those touchdowns. Because they kind of stopped him a little bit. They were kind of on the right sideline, right? And he fought really hard to get in there. So, congratulations to him for real, and super super proud of him, man. I mean, way to come back after the frustrations that he had that were evident. I mean, you could see it from the sideline. You can see he was super frustrated in that first game, and for him to come back and help his team out in that way. Good job to you, young man. Fossen also ended up with a touchdown, and he was 4 receptions for 62 yards, according to the stats. Um, yeah, he's a shifty runner, and he got some good blocks from his other receivers. I think maybe one of them was Jackson on the other end. I can't remember. It's been a minute, but um, no, the receivers did really good blocking. He was able to kind of work through and he made something happen. So good job to that young man. But the defense stepped up big time in that game to stop the run. They held Richfield to only 44 yards on the ground. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So hats off to the defense. Way to go on stopping that run. Um, Richfield did see slight success in the passing game, throwing for 167 yards, but no touchdowns. Like I said when we were talking about Deseret Peak, right? The quick slant was working for him. It really was. But Grantsville did a good job of not letting it develop to anything more than that. They didn't get beat over the top. Um, even the backups came in and played solid defense. I think it was number 17, which I think is Grayson, if I recall correctly. The clock's kind of winding down, and Richfield's just trying to do their thing, and he's in the game, and he had 2 receivers back there, and he's trying to guard them both, and he did a good job. He did a good job, and so that Grantsville defense really did a night and day performance, I think, in especially stopping the run. They did fantastic. They did fantastic. So hats off to them. So again, they win that one on the road, 32-0. And this week they come in 1-1 for their first home game against the Manti Templars, who are also 1-1. Let's see, Manti comes into this one after a dominating win over Juan Diego last week, where they put up 429 total yards of offense. So big game for them. They also played well against Pineview, losing only 51-45 in a shootout there. So, and that was in week 1. So they've played pretty well. They're 1-1, and they're definitely a high-powered offense. They're definitely a high-powered offense. Um, you know, 429 yards of total offense for them in last week's game. So they're coming into this one looking for a shootout probably. So let's look at the team comparison. Now, this is going to be a little one-sided, okay, because there is no stats available for Grantsville's first game. So all we have is the second game. All right, so all the stats are kind of one game stats. So it'll be a little bit jaded. There's some categories that I think that I remember, but I could be wrong. But nonetheless, let's get into it. All right. So passing yards, Manti has 664 passing yards already on the season. Grantsville sitting at 206 after one game. Passing touchdowns, Manti has 8 on the season so far in 2 games. Grantsville has 3 after one, which I don't think they had one in the first one either. So that's probably accurate. But passing interceptions, Manti's only thrown 1 according to their stats. 0 is listed for Grantsville, but I'm pretty sure we're sitting at least 3 so far. Because the first game was a little rough. I know Van Vliet threw 2 early on in that one, and I feel like he threw one on Friday too. So I think we're sitting at 3. Um, but it is what it is. 0 is listed for him. Rushing yards, Manti is sitting at 359 rushing yards on the season so far. Grantsville's only got 88 listed, which is also, that's definitely not right. It's probably, I would assume it's probably closer to 200 right now. But again, I don't know for sure. Rushing touchdowns, Manti is sitting at 4. Grantsville sitting at 1. Tackles for loss, the defense for Grantsville is listed as having 4 so far. As for Manti, they're listed as having 6. Sacks, 2's listed for Manti. There was none listed for Grantsville, but I'm pretty sure Porter Davis got one in the first game that I can recall off the top of my head. So we should have at least 1, if I'm not mistaken. Interceptions, Manti's listed as collecting 3 of those so far on defense this year. Meanwhile, Grantsville's listed as having 0, but I'm, again, pretty sure we should have at least 3 on there, but that was from the first game, where I know Jordan got 2, and Bodell on the other side, he ended up with 1, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, pretty close comparison there, I think, on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side of the ball, I think that they probably got a bit more passing yards because the first game for Grantsville was a little rough. They struggled a little bit. So, no big deal. But let's look at the player comparison of what we've got so far. And again, remember, we only have stats for Grantsville players for 1 game. Okay, so some of this is probably not fully accurate, all right? But I can only go off of what's presented, and that's all that's presented. So from the quarterback position for Grantsville, we've obviously got number 1, Dallin Van Vliet, the junior. He's sitting at 19 of 28 on the season, 196 yards and 3 touchdowns. And again, I'm pretty sure 3 interceptions at least. 7 carries for 28 yards and a touchdown. As for Manti, their quarterback is number 0, Carter Mason, a senior. He's sitting at 73% on the season so far. He's 39 of 53 for 654 yards already, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, 15 carries for 66 yards. That young man is having a really good season so far. Running back positions, for Grantsville, we've got number 26, Rigdon Murdoch, the senior. He's got 8 carries listed for 53 yards, averaging 6.6. And again, that should be a little bit higher because we only have the 1 game worth of stats, okay? As for Manti, number 23, Tawalapapa, whatever, the senior. He's got 14 carries, 178 yards, averaging 12.7 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns. Pretty impressive so far there as well. Wide receiver position for Grantsville, we've got Ty Home listed as the leader right now. He's a junior, number 3, with 4 receptions, 63 yards, and 2 touchdowns. As for Manti, their leading receiver is number 5, Stone Mortensen, the senior as well. 15 receptions, 331 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So big season so far for that young man as well. On the defensive side of the ball, your leader in total tackles for Grantsville, what's listed so far right now is number 8, Jordan Fossen, the senior. He's got 6 total tackles listed and 2 tackles for loss. As for Manti, number 50, Nelson Everett, the senior. He's got 17 total tackles listed and 2 tackles for loss. As for sacks, again, Grantsville didn't have any listed, so I'm just going off my memory. I'm pretty sure it should be at least number 87, Porter Davis, the senior. He should have at least 1. As for Manti, number 8, Carter Anderson, the senior, he's got 1 sack, as does number 56, Max Olson, a senior, with 1 sack. They were both tied with leading the team in sacks there. So interceptions, again, it wasn't listed for Grantsville, but I know for a fact Jordan's got at least two. So I'm pretty sure he's their leader so far for interceptions. I could be wrong about that, but number 8, Jordan Fossen, the senior, with at least 2 interceptions on the season. And as for Manti, they had a 3-way tie with one apiece. So good luck to Grantsville. I think it's going to be a shootout. You know, to if Grantsville comes out and they had the offensive performance that they had last week, this is going to be a shootout. 100%. 100% is going to be a shootout. I think the ball is going to fly a lot in this one. I mean, unless the coaching staff tries to change that, but I think this is an opportunity where this is going to be a shootout in the air. So those defenses, it's going to be which defense can stop it the best, I think. And Grantsville played really, really well last week. Um, they're gonna have to play well again, especially that secondary. So me personally, I'm looking at players like Brock Hodgson. I think he's gonna be tested a lot. I think he's gonna be tested a lot in this one. So I'm keeping my eye on him to see how he comes up to the challenge, because Mantak clearly likes to throw the ball. Clearly likes to throw the ball, and so I think he's gonna be tested quite a bit because they're familiar with Jordan. Um, they know what he can do. They played against him last year. I mean, I know they played against Brock too, but he wasn't leading that position. So, um, he's leading that position now. So if I'm the other team, that's who I'm trying to target. I'm not trying to target the guy who's led the team in interceptions for the last 2 years. Like I'm not trying to target that guy. That's dumb, right? But Bodell's proven himself to kind of be an interception threat as well. So I have a feeling like that he's probably going to be tested quite a bit. And so I hope he's up for the task. I have faith in him. I have confidence in him. But that would be if I'm the opposing team, that's where I'm trying to go. So I think he's going to be tested a little bit, and I can't wait to see what he does, man. I really can't. Um, but again, I think the defense is just going to have a phenomenal game again because they can clearly rush the ball as well, right? They've got 359 rushing yards. So that defense is going to have another standout performance, and at that point, it'll be up to the offense to when when the defense gets those stops, keep the momentum going. And they did really well with that last week, so hopefully they can carry that into this week and it transitions for them, and they're able to do that. Um, they got the ball out of Van Vliet's hands very quick last week, and that worked out very well for them. That may not work this week. So maybe, the running game's more impactful, right? So Murdoch and Bell, they might need to have some big games as well, right? But I really think this could be a shootout game. It's definitely gonna be good, I think. I think this might be one of the best games that Grantsville plays this season, potentially. Just because, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities between these teams, in my opinion, after watching them over the years. And I think there's a lot of like animosity in some ways. Like I think they kind of really don't like each other. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. So good luck to Grantsville as they have their first home game of the season so far tonight at 7 p.m. So good luck to you guys, and go out there and kick some butt. All right. It's another one I'm so excited to talk about. I'm so excited to talk about this because this one holds a special spot for me, okay? I've never been shy about the fact that yes, we lean heavier towards Grantsville because that's where my kids have gone to school. That's where they played. And we're invested in that program. But I hold a special spot in my heart for Tooele. I truly do. Um, that's where I wouldn't say I grew up, but I graduated there. I'll say it. I guess I kind of grew up there, right? And so, I want them to be successful. I want them to see success. I truly do. And they've struggled. They've struggled, and I'm super excited for them this year. With some of the changes that they've had, some of the staff that they added, even though some of the staff they added even last year, right? I'm super excited for them, and I'm so happy for them because last week Tooele was at home against Mountain View for their season opener at home. Well, it wasn't their season opener, excuse me, their first home game, and they win this one in front of their home fans, 35-27. So they see their first win of the season with a turnaround performance in the passing attack for sure. Something that I've been extremely critical of, the last what season and a half or season and a quarter so far, right? I've always said that I feel like that's their weakest spot. That I felt like that's where they could see the most benefit, right? I've been extremely critical of it, and you're starting to see signs of it, I think. And Tooele sees their first win. with a very good performance. Not the best, but definitely good in terms of what they've had in the past, right? Clarkson had a big game. Maverick Clarkson had a big game with 7 receptions, 155 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Gus Pater was 10 of 20 for 179 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kami Vayanuku, he shouldered the rushing attack, having 12 carries for 61 yards. He was our player to watch on defense because of what he did on the defensive side of the ball in that first game. And I hadn't seen any stats of him running the ball, but apparently that wasn't a bad. I started watching the playback. I didn't make it all the way through. I had some things come up, but yeah, I think that was a smart decision. Like, he's a heck of a runner too. So he's now taking on some of the rushing attack responsibilities. It looks like, and he did really well. He had 12 carries for 61 yards. So good job to that young man. The Buffaloes tallied 7 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and 11 quarterback hurries. Caden Schutz, I I hope I said that correctly. I had to double check that. I thought I was missing an L because I've seen that name before, but so I do apologize if I said your name wrong, young man. He snagged 1 interception. Tooele scored 27 points in the first half, and so I think for them that's extremely promising. And it probably made them feel really good. But those 27 points in the first half, it really set the tone for them, and it kind of gave them the cushion to win because honestly, the second half, it looked like they came out kind of flat. They only scored once in the second half. In fact, that was only in the third quarter. So definitely room for improvement there, right? Like coming out of halftime, keeping that momentum going. But what a way to start the game. And again, what a turnaround performance for that passing attack. I have, you know, it's my podcast. I can do what I want, right? So let's look it up. I think that was potentially a career high for Gus Pater so far. Let's look at it. Let's look at it because I covered a lot last year, and I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember off the top of my head if he had stats higher than that. But the amount of times that they ran the ball last year, I don't think that he did. I don't think that he did. So let's look it up. We're getting sidetracked just a little bit, but we want to make sure we recognize stuff like that. I mean, that's a big deal if it's truly is. It's a big deal. So let's see. Gotta get to football there. Okay. All right. So let's see. I know there used to be a section where you could see the buy game. So let's. Hmm. I might have to look it up later and then give him a shout out. We'll have to see, but we'll have to see. Maybe maybe I found it here. Okay, here we go. So last year looks like his highest passing game was against Cottonwood, where he threw for 136 yards. So, and 3 touchdowns. That was probably his best game too. No interceptions there. He was 8 of 8. Yeah, that was a really good game for that young man there. But again, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just last week he hit a career high in passing yards. So good job, young man. Congratulations to you. That's fantastic. Let's double check it. So I don't say anything stupid, but he's only got varsity stats listed for last year and this year. So we should be spot on there. Yeah, 179. Career high so far for that young man. Congratulations, young man. That's awesome. That's super impressive. Right on, right on. We like to see stuff like that. We like to shout it out. I mean, that's awesome. Um, Good for you, man. Good for you. Seriously, good for you. So Tooele will look to continue that momentum as they head into this week. Now they'll be driving around the mountain just a little bit. They're 1-1 on the season. They'll be taking on Cypress, who's also 1-1. Now Cypress won their opener in a close one against Clearfield. It was really low scoring. If I remember, it was like 8-9 or something like that. But they come into this game after a shutout last week against Wasatch. Wasatch just shut them out, and Cypress let up about 241 rushing yards. on that one. So they're coming into this one definitely looking to bounce back. So Tooele's, can't be on. Obviously they should be excited about the win last week. You want to carry that momentum, but you can't let it jade you, right? Because now you're coming into a team that clearly wants to prove themselves as well, right? And so let's look at the team comparison just a little bit here. Now, this is going to be super easy because Cyprus doesn't have any stats listed. So we're just going to basically talk about Tooele and how good they're doing. All right. So in passing yards, obviously Tooele has 281. Passing touchdowns, 3. Passing interceptions, 2 are listed. I think he threw one in the game last week though that I don't know that they got listed. I feel like I saw that when I was watching the playback because, like I said, I started watching it, but I didn't make it all the way through. I could be wrong, but rushing yards 214 for the Buffaloes so far in the season. Rushing touchdowns 3. Now defensively, tackles for loss, they're sitting at 9. They've got 4 sacks and 2 interceptions. That defense is really getting active. I'm super excited to see them grow. As for the player comparison, again, Cyprus has no stats listed for anything. So just get to talk about Tooele a little bit here. Number 8, Gus Pater, the junior. He's sitting at about 47% on the season with 16 of 34, 225 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He's also got 19 carries for 31 yards and 1 touchdown. Your running back leader for Tooele is number 22, Kami Vayanuku. And again, apologies if I said your name incorrectly, sir. But the junior, he's sitting at 17 carries for 69 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think they're trying to figure out what works best there. So there was several players listed with rushing stats. I think they're trying to figure out who the best fit might be for what they're trying to do. But so far, he's leading the team with 69 yards and 2 touchdowns. Maverick Clarkson is your leading receiver after his big game. He's now sitting at 13 receptions for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns. You're on the defensive side of the ball. Your total tackles leader is also number 22, Kami Vayanuku, the junior, with 12 total tackles. Now, as for sacks, they've got a 4-way tie. You've got number 58, Luke Dixon, the senior, number 50, Gus Remington, a junior, and number 12, Trevin or Rosser. Hope I said that correctly. Sophomore. And number 43, Jaden Shinhua. Man, I apologize. Hopefully I was close enough though. Number 43, Jaden, a sophomore. All 4 of those players have 1 sack each. So give them all a shout out there. And again, Tooele will look to continue that momentum tonight on the road in Cyprus, which is just around the mountain here. I don't know for sure, but if they're playing at that new school, that new school is massive. That's probably going to be a really sweet field to play on if they're playing up there just yet. I imagine that they are, but I don't know for sure. There was a lot of people upset about some of the niceness of Deseret Peaks School. Listen, if you're upset about it, just go look at Cyprus, and you might put some things in perspective. That school is massive. It's huge. Like the footprint for it is just ridiculous. So I imagine they got a pretty nice field. So go tear it up, Tooele. Go tear it up. Show them that you can polish a turd all you want. Ain't no good. Just kidding. No, but hey, good luck to Tooele. Safe travels. And go out there and continue improving and showing that hopefully they can show us that it wasn't by mistake, that this team's really for real, and we can expect to see that. So good luck to those guys. Good luck to all of our teams. Stansbury and Tooele, be safe out there on the road. Deseret Peak, good luck to you guys. Hopefully you guys are able to continue your progress and your momentum forward. We're definitely rooting for you. Just keep working. We have faith in you. It's going to be ugly this year, I think, but it should get better towards the end of the year. And we're definitely rooting for you. And just keep those heads up. Don't lose sight. Keep your eye on the prize. Don't let these scores beat you down. No, you can't. You guys are building. You got to stay mentally strong right now. So good luck to them tonight. Hopefully we get to see some improvements there. Continued growth. That's all. Here at USB, that's all we're looking for is just continued growth. We want to see you guys continue to grow and get things going. So as for Grantsville, we'll definitely be there tonight, 7 p.m. Good luck to you guys. Can't wait to see what you guys do defensively for sure. Are you guys going to be able to shut that passing attack down? Shut it down. So I think it's going to be a really good game. I really do. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough though. Um, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see the mindset of these young men and how they come into this one because I think I personally feel like mindset is 75% of the battle, you know. Um, so yeah, mindset's got to be there, and I'm excited to see what they do. So good luck to everybody again, seriously, and please be safe. That goes to the fans, parents, students that are traveling, to maybe go support their team. Please be safe out there on the roads. Um, Weather's supposed to be good as far as I know, but people suck at driving a lot of the time. So please be safe. Please take care of yourselves, and we look to cover some wins again. And I will do my best to be better about the Monday recap. So. Hey guys, that'll wrap it up for our football game day. Please get out there and support these teams. Please get out there and support these other sports as well. We had soccer all week. We had volleyball all week. I haven't got the scores up for the volleyball from last night. Again, I'm sorry. Late night. I was at a concert and rough morning. All right, so excuse me. But we'll get those scores up. But seriously, guys, please get out there support these young athletes. They work their butts off, and I know that they appreciate the support. And you know, obviously, I think we get a lot of people to our football programs. But let's try to extend that love to these other programs as well as best as we can, and just get out there and show some support because I don't know. At the end of the day, I think you reach this point where you just kind of realize, at least I did, where you realize like man, there's so many cool things about life that you know, the hustle and bustle of everything just isn't worth it, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I enjoy supporting these athletes, these young human beings as best as we can, and I wish nothing but the best for all of them, seriously. And I hope that you guys are all able to accomplish your dreams. Just go enjoy life. Go enjoy life because there's enough crap in the world that we don't. Who cares? Just go enjoy life, and I'm excited to see what you guys do. So, as always, guys, please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other. And until next time, I'll see you at the games.